What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're taking an early look at the brand new Jack Wolf knives, Sharpshooter Jack. This model is going to be releasing at authorized dealers for $299 on January 19th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll put the drop details as well as a link to a list of those authorized dealers in the description of this video so you can find it all in one place. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of excitement around this model, mainly because the Sharpshooter Jack was actually the first model released by Jack Wolf Knives 21 months ago. And so being the initial release, a lot of people missed out on that drop, myself included, and this is the first opportunity to get one retail since then. Now, there have been some minor changes since version 1, basically the same stuff you usually see with the re-releases, but we'll get into those later into the video. Now, the second reason for excitement is the different configurations this is dropping with. Like all Jack Wolf knife drops, there are 5 configurations dropping, and 3 of the 5 have never been seen on previous models. So we have a lot of new variations, and I'm pretty excited about those. Hope to see those again on future models as well, and we'll get into that as well. This is obviously the Jigged titanium with the dark wash. I think it looks incredible. I've been wanting to check out one of the Jigged titanium configurations for a while. I think I mentioned it even in my last 2 videos. So excited to finally have one, and I do think that dark wash really puts it over the top. Maybe we'll compare it to another brand's Jigged titanium that doesn't have that dark wash, just so we can see the difference a little later in the video. But as far as this pattern goes, we have a gunstock pattern, called that for obvious reasons. You can see, especially in this open position, looks like a rifle. And the butt of that rifle will be this bottom bolster. Not only do I like the look of the shape, but I think it adds a lot to the ergos of this knife as well. We have a 3.74 inch handle in that closed position, and able to get all 5 fingers on there, no problem. But what happens is, because your first 2 fingers land on this lowered section and your back land on that more elevated section, once you lock in on this knife, you're not able to really slide backwards. So it's a very secure grip, a very comfortable grip, and it keeps you locked into position even if you don't have such grippy covers. The Jigged titanium happen to be really grippy, but if you have some smoother covers, you're still going to be locked in nicely there, and I'd have a lot of confidence that I'm not going to be sliding around. Now, also really love the blade shape. I love a clip point blade, and this one's done really nicely. I love especially how it kind of swoops up near the tip here, and just a nice shape on that. Taking a look at some of the differences from version 1. First is going to be the steel, like we're seeing with all of the re-releases, changed from M390 to S90V, which is what we have here. And then still has that lovely hollow grind. In terms of deployment, we swapped over from a nail nick to a long pull, and that's a very welcome change for me. Don't really have a strong preference either way in terms of deployment, but usually if I can pinch grip a knife, I will, and in this case I can pinch grip it easily, so not too worried about whether it's a nail nick or long pull. But aesthetically, I like the way long pulls look with a clip point, and so I think it just adds to the whole visual effect for me, and so like that. Now, like I said, able to just pinch grip this, and so that's what I typically do. We also see a larger sharpening choil, which is feedback he got on the original models, and so we're seeing that on all of the re-releases as well as the slightly extended bolster to accommodate that triple fluting, which has become a signature of Jack Wolf knives. Now, the last one isn't really a visual change that you're going to be able to see, and not something I can speak to so much because I don't have version 1, but apparently these springs have been strengthened, and so you have a little bit of a stronger pull, and this is a little bit stronger pull than the last at least slip joint that dropped, the little bro jack, and that's pretty typical. I think smaller knives typically have a lighter pull, but does have a slightly heavier pull, nice and stout. If you like a heavy pull, this one's probably a nice 7 or so, and so feels really, really good. Excellent walk and talk on this as well. I'll stop talking so you can hear that for a moment. And so yeah, feels excellent. Like always with Jack Wolf, the quality control is top notch. You're never going to see any gapping. The springs are always going to be flush in all 3 positions. No blade play, anything like that. Always a perfectly centered blade. And so he does an incredible job on quality control. Weight-wise, we're looking at 2.8 ounces. This is titanium, so relatively lightweight, feels good in hand, no pocket clip, obviously. It does come with a slip, being a slip joint, and so really, really incredible knife. I'm super excited about this one. Now, I want to talk about some of the other variations, because for me, I think one of the new variations is one that may be the best configuration ever released on a Jack Wolf knife for me. And so that's definitely saying a lot. We'll do that one last. So obviously the Jigged titanium, and we'll compare that to another one shortly here. But we have 3 fat carbon options. The Arctic Storm, which we've seen before, the Snowfire, which is this red and white one that looks incredible. Then we have a dark matter glow. And so it looks like your typical dark matter, but if you charge it up with light or UV, it glows in the dark. It's not just UV reactive, it actually glows in the dark. It looks incredible, and definitely check that out. If you haven't seen it yet, find a video that has it or even one of the pictures, because it's a really cool effect and I think looks great. Now the one that I said might be my favorite configuration ever, and the one I'm going to be chasing on drop day, is the reverse tux. And so we have a plain stone-washed handle with the DLC coated blade, and I think it looks incredible. It's such a beautiful looking knife. Definitely going to try and pick one up. So would love to hear which one you're going to be chasing on drop day if you're going for one. I think there's a lot of different ones that might be people's favorite. I think the dark matter glow is probably going to be the most popular, but reverse tux is right up there. And for me, I prefer the reverse tux just a little bit, but I do see that a lot of people are really just going to like the novelty of the glow in the dark. For me, I still get excited about glow in the dark stuff like I'm 5, and so really like that model as well. Now let's compare this to a non-dark washed Jigged titanium. I have the TPK exclusive QSP Hedgehog, and I don't want to take away from this because I think this is done really well and looks great. But side by side, there's really no comparison for me. I think the Jack Wolf dark washed Jigged titanium looks so much better, and so love the way that turned out. The other thing worth noting when comparing the two is that the QSP has kind of a cold feeling to it, like it still feels like metal, but that dark wash does take away some of that cold feeling. I'm sure if it got cold enough, it's still gonna feel cold, but does take away a little bit of that, which is nice. So it feels really good in hand. Now let's take a look at all of the accoutrements that come with Jack Wolf knives. A big part of it is the packaging. We do get the oversized cleaning cloth microfiber, always get different colors. You most likely will get this orange, but the colors can change even across a model. So just because you're getting the same model doesn't mean you're gonna get the same color cleaning cloth, but all the colors look great. You do get 2 stickers now. Since I've had this one for a while now, I had an opportunity to just set this one under some coasters and get these flattened out, but really cool design on the sticker that is very different from the tin and the POG that we get. And so I like this design a lot. Not 100% sure if this is also Jay Gonzo, but like the re-releases that we've been seeing, Jay Gonzo did do the art on the tube and POG. And so another one of my favorites, I could probably do a video just ranking my favorite tubes, but I think the artwork on this one is very, very cool. And so really good colors to it and just a cool looking design. Love the text on it and everything about that. You can see Jay Gonzo art here on Instagram. Definitely check that out. And then there's the care section, which I mentioned in the after hours Jack, but definitely worth looking at for the slip joints as well. He doesn't recommend that you take apart these slip joints just because they're a little bit more difficult to maintain. Same thing with the POG. We got the same artwork here on the front. Nice look at it in that flat orientation, a little bit easier to see what's going on. And on the back, the Sharpshooter with the Jack Wolf logo. So all really great. We do get a slip as well. This one's already been carried a little bit. Like I said, I've already had this one for about a week now. So this one does have some signs of wear, but usually going to look pretty much brand new, but do patina nicely. And I think that wear looks great on them. Let me know what you think of this knife down in the comments below. Like I said, which model or configuration you're going to pick up if you're planning on grabbing one on the drop on the 19th, and anything else you'd like to comment. But thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting that notification button. And I hope you have a great one. Take care.